Dr. Drew Pinsky has been sharing his battle with COVID-19. One thing we haven't asked yet is how you think you contracted the virus.
I don't know. And here's the part that really bothers me. The chief of staff was complaining they didn't have enough staff. I said, I'll volunteer to work in the ER. Activate me right now. I'll go work in the ER. And I actually met with the woman that runs the overflow unit. We were getting ready. They lost me as a resource. I could not tolerate more than an hour or two of a shift right now. I really could not. And so I'm sort of useless in an ER at this point. That's the part that bothers me about the vaccine rollout, aside from the fact that there hasn't been enough and it's been botched on many levels, particularly in California, but that we had a priority of equity, which we all agree is a priority, but we sort of left behind maximizing resources and saving lives. That seemed to have been not on the table with the other priorities. And we can have more than one priority and still and save lives and do things that help everybody and in the spirit of equity. But we just became very simplistic in how we did this, and I think we botched it. I really do.
I think, yeah, I agree. I think most of us will agree that the vaccine rollout was definitely less than ideal. But when it comes to deciding who should get it now, who should get it next, so on and so forth, I feel like there are still a lot of different opinions. In fact, when we look at the UK, there's this story that has a lot of controversy around it, and it's about a serial killer who was offered the vaccine before millions of other people there. Like, what are your thoughts when it comes to stories like that?
I just think bureaucracy. I think bureaucracy, you know what they should be doing? They should be relying on pharmacies and physician offices more than these highly centralized, or exclusively these very centralized locations. I am very much in favor of large-scale rollouts and big distributions, but we should have less bureaucratic control of this thing. Government, this is, here we are, guys. This is when government takes care of healthcare. These are the kinds of things that happen. Equity should be a goal, absolutely. And more distributed care with physicians and pharmacies might help obviate some of those problems. I think we're altering course. I mean, for instance, just allowing 65 plus now to get vaccinated, those are the people that are out and about, high risk, and have the most years to be gained. And we should be protecting those people. So I'm glad to see that we're at least adjusting course a little bit. The next thing we need to do is prioritize educators so we can get schools open.
I love that you keep circling back to thinking about equity and equality, because what we don't want is a situation where money talks. And we don't want a situation where it's only going to people who can pay. That's what we don't want.
No. And we don't want to lose sight of equity. But I just think the idea that that's our sole priority, that's not how medicine works. When medicine, we're thinking about risk-reward analysis on multiple issues and multiple things we're prioritizing in our head when we make a medical decision. And that's been, to me, one of the worst parts of this epidemic is people are not using risk-reward analysis. What's happening to an entire generation of children because of what we're doing with schools? We don't even know. And no one took that risk-reward analysis really seriously when they made some of the decisions they did, because they're not used to thinking like doctors. They don't make those sorts of decisions when they're government officials.
Dr. Drew, thank you so much for sharing your story. I think you shared a lot of knowledge. You're going to make a lot of people feel better.